Good morning, everyone. So, as you see, I spend less time than I could have producing new videos, new scientific videos, and conducting further research. And this is due to two reasons. I mean, one is a negative reason, and one is, I think, a positive reason. The negative reason, as I already said yesterday, I mean, I'm not in a good mood right now because everything that's going on with my daughters, which affects me very negatively, and the fact that I can only speak with them using video calls is very disturbing and very sad. But I mean, the second reason is, I think we should be the second reason of me quote, I mean, slacking off in producing new videos, scientific videos, is, I think, a good reason. I mean, it's I view it as a positive reason, is that I try to spend more time currently watching science or science-related, laboratory-related videos in YouTube, and it's not necessarily, I mean, I don't think that I can bridge the gap, the huge gap that I have, the huge disadvantage that I have, because I try to deal with very important scientific stuff while I'm just a layman, I mean, in these fields, because, as I said many times, unfortunately, I've never learned biology and microbiology and any life science, even not in high school, high school level, which is a shame. But I mean, that's the way it is. I studied other stuff in my life, but not those branches of human knowledge. So I don't think that it's possible to bridge that gap, I mean, so easily. But what I can do, and what I try to do, is to, in a short period of time, to gather some practical knowledge about how microscope work and what kind of microscopy methods are common, and what is reasonable to obtain from a layman study of biological or pseudobiological or robobiological samples. And so, because as I say many times, I mean, you need some kind of framework in any science that you do. I mean, I need a way to approach the samples with some kind of goals and even some kind of a narrative that will guide me in searching for stuff, and also for preparing the introductory video, and perhaps even later on the textbook that I want to produce, which will summarize what I know and what I think I know regarding my own kinky biology. So I try to watch videos that are related, and to come to some maybe even tentative but important conclusions on the matter. What I will want to do today, and hopefully I will get to it and do it, is to review some of the older samples that we watched together, especially the ones that are with a lot of biological material, and which are that are the two, what I call biomonsters, the two flies that were covered with my semen, and that some nice things were. I mean, I've seen some nice things on them. So let's look at them again. I also want to prepare new biomonsters. I have several syringes that I prepared during the last 2 days, and so I'll take the time to find insects in this apartment. Perhaps not only flies, but maybe a spider as well. I've seen a small spider in a bag of rice when I prepared the rice 2 days ago, but the little bastard managed to get away. Lucky one. Also, I've seen a little tiny fly in the toilet yesterday, and I tried to catch him, but he was very stubborn and very inventive little fly. So he found a way to get out of my reach, and also he managed to rescue himself from the fate of being prey to my killer nanobots. So I need to find other animals to drone them with my literally drone. I mean, it's literally to drone them with inside my semen. Sounds pornographic, but I mean, you know what I mean. It's just that. So another option besides semen, which is not a good option, so I will not. I don't think that it will happen, but I mean, it's another. I mean, interesting option is to use blood instead of semen. We didn't. I didn't, and we didn't research my blood thoroughly until now. I've only showed you a very small sample of, like a tiny, extremely small sample of my blood that I took, and I created a video out of it. And even then, I mean, some very cautious viewers suggested in the comments that there might be even there some several Neros to be found, but I'm not certain whether these were actually Neros or maybe air bubbles. Sometimes it's difficult to differentiate between them. So what I will do today is I'll take another blood sample, this time a larger one for myself, and I'll create another video, and we will search maybe my blood more thoroughly to see if we can identify Neos, the entities that I call Neos in my blood. Logic dictates that it's possible to find them in my blood, but I mean, we do not deal with pure logic, but we deal with science, hard science, empirical science. So we need proof, right? If I will find an unobjectable presence of Neros in my blood, it will mean what we already all of us suspect. It will mean that my body is like swarming with this stuff, which I think, I mean, all of us really, I mean, we know that it's probably true. I probably have billions of them inside me, many billions of them. But I mean, conjectures are not everything, and assumptions are not everything. We need some proof for it, and I think that if we'll find some in my blood, it will be further proof of it. Nevertheless, I mean, even if it's true and it will be proven to be true, I think we will stick with semen. Well, it sounds, I don't know if gross or pornographic or both, but we will stick to semen because in our future experiments, because I mean, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to donate large quantity of blood, and I can't do it continuously. And I can, if I really want to, I mean, if it's for the benefit of science or for the benefit or, I don't know, the advancement of humankind, or even better, the advancement of the determination of humankind, which is even a happier scenario. So I can ejaculate several times a day, but I can't donate blood several times a day without dire consequences. So further investigation of the quantities of Neros in my blood will be, I think, purely not in order to establish new methods of research, but only to further establish the assumption that my body is actually swarming with those little things, possibly in billions or even perhaps even a higher order of magnitude. I would say that it's interesting from my perspective to know what you, my audience, already knew about those entities, because what I do know is that you knew. I mean, in Israel, of course, people knew about them because they knew that I contained this stuff, and they knew that I created, and it was part of the agenda, the evil, the sinister agenda of the Shabak here, to hide it from the general public in order to just obtain it for me and for their own usage. I mean, I understood it it's from the Shabak people that I understood, that I initially got the direction of the initial directions of research. Otherwise, I would never thought about it. But I know that what I also know is that the creatures that they call titans require this material for a purpose that they until now don't really understand. And as a direct consequence, I mean, ipso facto, as they say in Latin, they knew about the existence of this material, even though it's a possibility that they didn't know about the positivistic nature of it, like the scientific nature of it. Maybe it's like they had some kind of, like the medieval conception of it as some kind of a magic potion or something like that, which is also a possibility, that they knew that such a magic potion exists and they require it direly, and this is difficult to obtain it on Earth, but maybe it's possible to obtain it on another planet, but it's extremely difficult for humans to actually obtain it from another planet, or perhaps it's not only difficult, but it's also immoral or illegal, and also very difficult. But I'm certain that the Titans here, and also the people of the major intelligence agencies, knew about the existence of such material, whether they knew about it like in the broadest way, like the existence of some kind of a magic potion, or maybe they even knew about its actual scientific properties. Maybe they have some quantities in their hands, which I'm pretty certain that they have. I mean, I assume that at least several intelligence agencies, I assume that they have some quantities of it in their hands, and they've conducted some, as I said before. I mean, I assume in a high level of confidence that several people in Earth, in Earth, have this material. People that are related to the government have this. I mean, persons that are related to the government have the material in some kind of quantities in their hands, and that they've conducted some research on it. Maybe, as I said before, not peer-reviewed research, but very shady research, which is, as I said, I'm not sure it can even be qualified as science, because even if it was conducted by Harvard professor of medical science or biological science, in some way, and excuse me for being presumptuous, or pretentious, in some way you can argue that my own research, which is conducted by a person that does not even possess a high school level of knowledge of biology, is in some level more scientific than theirs, because it's completely open, as any true scientific study should be. And their study was, under the darkness of the intelligence, the government intelligence or military intelligence. But I assume some people have conducted some research on those things, and if they came to conclusions, of course, it will be interesting for me to know what conclusions they have in their hands. I assume they have small quantities of this material, and I would not be surprised to discover that even the quantities that can be found now, literally can found on this table, on this very meager and humble little table that I use, just on the several slides that are on the table. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised to learn that they are larger in quantity than what all of the intelligence agencies in the world have in their hands together. But nevertheless, I mean, I still assume that you have, I mean, some of my listeners have some quantity of this stuff, and they have conducted some kind of research on it. And of course, it will be interesting to know what they know on the matter. I would say that one of the things that is problematic when you deal for a long time with the Israeli intelligence and with the Israeli security system in general is that these people are disgustingly against any kind of information sharing, and if you seek the advice of other people, they look at you as a weak person, and this is extremely disgusting. And one of the measurements of how strong a person is how, I mean, is the level of, I mean, is the quantity of questions that he asks, and the proportion is an inverse one. I mean, if a person asks a lot of questions, then in their view, he's a weak person, is a stupid person, which is, of course, I mean, the reality is just the opposite. I mean, a person can ask a lot of questions and get a lot of advices, and at the same time, it doesn't mean that he's easy to influence. I mean, he can be very skeptical, and I view myself as an extremely skeptical person and rational person. And at the same time, I mean, and not, I mean, and the part of me being skeptical is that I like to hear many views, many. I like to take into account several, and as much as possible, as many possible point of views, and eventually create my own synthesis of several point of views. And if some of the arguments are bluntly false, or perhaps even deliberately false, and they are there to misguide me, it doesn't mean that eventually the synthesis will suffer from their existence, because many times, and I've said it before, the existence of false directions or misinformation actually, under the lens of a skeptical person, could direct you into the truth. This is something that is very, I mean, the idea that I just outlined now is something that is known not only from science, but also from theology and from religious sciences. I mean, I know that some people think that religious and science are, I mean, in direct conflict and cannot coexist, but you already know that it's not the way that I view things, and it's not the way that many of your own ancestors viewed reality. It's kind of a new struggle, a new conflict, relatively. I mean, historically speaking, during, I mean, your own history, many times it was people of strong religious views and strong religious education were the ones that conducted very important scientific experiments and contributed contributed in very significant ways to the advancement of science. So yes, it's true in religious and in theology, but also in science, that the existence of false opinions, even deliberately false opinions that are there solely for the reason of swaying you, or I mean, misdirecting you from the correct path, their existence can contribute to you to get into the correct path and to understand the reality in the most accurate way that is possible. So I don't think that asking for advice or asking for, I mean, in strong contrast to pretty much everyone in the Israeli intelligence, I don't think that asking for advice or listening to other people's point of views and advices is a limiting factor in your own quest to construct your own model of reality and your own quest to achieve, I mean, to reach the truth. To reach the truth, whatever it's a truth about religion or about science or about human affairs, to reach all kinds of truth. Okay, that's it for now.